Welcome to Wagons of Steel. It's a party and everyone is invited. As long as you wear a mask and stay 6 feet away from me. Just kidding. I hate these masks. I hate that we can't race this time of year, or this year at all, 2020. Some people have been out there, but you know, they've canceled so many different events and they don't let spectators in. It's just not the same. It's not, it doesn't work for me. So I've taken the whole year off, and I'm really not happy about it. I've got my practice tree here, where you can pretend to drag race by pushing a little button, which is, ooh, 502. Not really that satisfying. There's no trophies to win. There's no nothing except just nothing. Just that's all there is to it. So hopefully next year we'll have some more action out of the drag strip, and I'll have some more interesting live action stuff to show you. I've got a few road trips planned out, and we'll be able to, you know, take some field trips away from my shop. But you know, for the moment, we're all stuck in this together. Today I have some neat old pictures to show you. More old pictures. Feeling like a grandma here. These are digital photos I have of the last few years of racing. Mostly stock eliminator, but just all kinds of different Wagons of Steel stuff. And, well, let's get on to it. I'll show it to you. Okay, here is the engine out of my race car. Sitting on an engine stand. You can see why they called these engines the Orange Monster back in the day. Here's a picture of me and my crew a few years ago. This is Jerry, Julie, there's me. There's our dearly departed buddy Step, and my engine builder, crew chief buddy Mike Breno. That's the national event. You can see all the trailers in the background. That's at Pacific Raceway. That's the event that got canceled this year, our national event up here in Seattle. Here's the race car on the back of our ramp truck. There's Dr. Big Block, Mike Breno, cleaning off his race car, our 1970 Chrysler Town & Country, the Mighty Josephine 2. And my stock eliminator car. That looks like it's a test and tune or bracket race at Pacific, or at Bremerton Raceway. There's another shot from the same race. You can see we had 2 ramp trucks at that time. There's another nice shot of my race car. Wagon Power Town & Country is a nice car. Here's the front of mine. Ooh, there's Mike's old Chrysler and the original Mighty Josephine race car. There's the Mighty Josephine on the back of our old ramp truck, the dearly departed. At the supermarket. You race enough, you learn to bring your own food, because you eat too much track food, it'll kill you. There we are at the racetrack with Matt Stoller standing in the background. There's the Mighty Josephine in the staging lanes with Jerry taking a picture from the back. There she is, heating up the tires. Getting fuel between rounds. We've got a little tiny fuel tank right up front. Cleaning up the windows. There's the view from my enclosed trailer. Another nice shot. Heating up the tires again. 11:57. Putting those back tires to work. That car really pushes down on some gravity. This is a match race with the Canadians, El Chupacabra 2. In the last video I showed you how they took the car that they took this whole area out of to make it into a two-door, because there was no such thing as a two-door station wagon from Chrysler in those years. This kind of gives you an idea how different our cars are. They're both 1964. Theirs is a Dodge and mine's a Plymouth. And theirs is set up to be nostalgia style with altered wheelbase, and it's got leaf springs up front, and it's got what's called a straight axle, which is a front suspension from a van. It's a lighter weight. It was a trick back in the day. You don't see that too much anymore. I guess it's because it's dangerous, or I don't know. I have to ask Canadians about it. This is another nice shot of all three cars. That's Polaripat. He's the driver owner of Chupacabra, and Step and Julie. There he is working on that car. You can see from this shot how altered the wheelbase is. Like on mine, the back wheels are probably like there. Here they moved it forward, and they moved the front wheels forward. This is another trick from back in the day. That was how they were attempting to get better traction, but when tires were really bad. And this is actually, I'm told, this is how the term funny car came out, because when these cars came out, some announcer said, "Oh, those cars look funny," so the term stuck. Needless to say, they're a little different nowadays. There's mine. You see, it's got a completely different stance. This is the traditional stocker style. This is just traditional Wagons of Steel weirdo style. The biggest Chrysler station wagon ever made, turned it into an 11-second car. Although now it goes down into the low 10s, and we've got it. It'll be legal into the 9s, and I'd be surprised if it didn't get there. Here we are all pulling up. Look how different those two cars are. Pulling into the water box. Coming up to the starting line. Look at that car leave. Because of the way that's set up with the altered wheelbase, I think that car would probably jerk the front wheels off the ground if you put a lawnmower engine in it. Of course, they got a good engine, and it's a fast car. There's the Mighty Josephine again. I think that's one of the Biscays in the other lane. I thought it was Brenda's car, but her car doesn't have that vinyl top, I don't think. You see the stands are just packed. El Chupacabra. That's just a great looking car. A friend of mine told me once, an old guy said, this car looks like when you painted it, you had 1964 air in the gun, which is one of the coolest things anyone's ever said to me. My friend Paco hand-painted the Wagons of Steel logo on the side of that. I can do it, but it's nice to have somebody else do some of that stuff. Then you don't have to see nothing but defects. You know, when you do it yourself, all you see are the flaws. There we are leaving. Look at those leaf springs work on the back of that car. That was running its original leaf springs then. I think we had Caltrax make us a custom set of split mono leads for that car. You know, making the suspension work in a car this big is a constant challenge. I mean, of course, there's the weight, but we have it pretty light. If you ever get a chance to see the car up close, you'll see just how light it is. There's not much left in that car. It's got the basic shape, but it's been pretty lightened. But the wheelbase is so long compared to a regular race car that you constantly have to take that into account. There's Mike at work, wagon power. Heating them up. You can see that one is Chris Carlson, their crew chief, is driving the car that day. Look at those tires work. This is a great track. Sometimes, though, when the sun is setting, it goes down right behind the tree, and I've put spots in my eyes for literally weeks trying to launch the car at sunset. There's Pat on a swing bike. Those guys put out cones and have the swing bike rodeo after the racing is done some days. Must be some nostalgia event. I think it was the Good Guys drags that we were at. Everyone loves this car. And that car. Wagons of Steel, it's a fun party when we're out at the drag strip. Definitely make sure to come out and sit with us. This is our super stalker, Troy Olsanowski. The giant dumb Swede looking to win our trophy. This car is legendary. I think this is at the national event. You can tell because of all the porta potties. This is back at Bremerton. See, I'm running, the car's got a B stock in it, so it's running lighter than usual. Normally I run C stock. There's one of our driving aces, Steve Ryland, in his beautiful 1967 Dodge Coronet with his son Sean. Just a little while ago, Sean is just days away from driving himself. Here's the under the hood of the mighty Josephine, and it says, "Our Lady of Blessed Acceleration, don't fail me now," which is a quote from the Blues Brothers movie. I love painting stuff under the hood. It's a natural canvas. I think all drag cars are basically art. Here's Mark Biscay, dressed as the mighty Stig, checking his tires with his helmet on. Can't be too safe. Here's another one of our hitters. This is Jody Lang. At the time the photo was taken, he was number 7 in the country. Last I checked, he was number 3. He's a perennial threat. I love that car. He's had that thing forever. It's immaculate. It's I think right there he's running M stock. So it's a V8 car, but it's like a 305, and I think it's a 79 or an 80. Super cool car, really nice guy, a great racer. There's another very similar car. This is Big Bill Vest. He's a bracket champion locally. He races Super Pro in this car. It's a really fast car. He's a fun guy to talk to. He knows a lot about racing. There's the mighty Josephine. can see it's got the Sportsman's Inn, which is a bar and grill on Vashon Island, and Nat Fly Productions, which is my wife. Vashon Auto Parts, we put them on all of our cars. Seen this shop before. This is this car is owned by Caleb Hansen now, but it was originally owned by Chris Tastard when this picture was taken. You can see it's, I think it's 2009 at the Winter Nationals in Pomona, California. And you can tell it was a while ago because it's got the old Wagons of Steel writing on the side of the car before I had hand painted. And this Roadrunner, it's a 446 pack car. The engine was put together by Steve Wan at the time. I doubt it is now. I think Caleb Hansen and his dad do all their own machine work. It's a beautiful car. Another shot of the mighty Josephine. There's the doctor working on the engine. I can't remember what he was doing there. It looks like he's changing out the plugs. Well, I'm just blessed to have him working for me. My God, this car is just it never stops. I think it's that way pretty much with almost any stock Eliminator car, because you're working from basically the stock car. I mean, there's complicated rules that allow you to do a lot of different things, but the amount of, I mean, you can't just throw money at it. You can't just buy a bigger carburetor. You've got to use the carburetors that came with the car. You can't, there's a lot of stuff you can't change. So you're always trying to get the most out of everything that you possibly can. There's my kids, Caroline and Joe, when they were much younger. Joe's 16 and drives now. Caroline's 14. Here I am racing against Steve Schwab. He's in a super stocker, so this has got to be a stock super stock combo. Notice I still got it at B weight. And this is at Woodburn, which is a really neat track. It's been around forever, I think since the early or mid 60s, and it's out in the middle of a bunch of agricultural fields in Oregon, about half an hour away from Portland. It's usually very hot, and if you have any allergies, it'll drive you insane. There we are at the national event. That's Troy Olsanowski Super Stocker again. Another immaculate car. That thing's been a race car, I think, since 1970. It's a 1966 wagon. It's originally a big block car. It's been around forever. Troy races it with a 283, and he beats that thing in no mercy. Here's a shot from 2015 of all the event and contestant stickers on the side of the race car. Boy, if you start adding up how much money each one of those stickers represents. Okay, here's a shot at, it's either a divisional or national event on the starting line. There I am taking the win. This is me against Mick Alley, he's a friend of ours. He's an awesome racer. He and his wife Jackie, they have a pair of 1969 Camaros, and they drive around the West Coast racing. She was the Superstock World Champion a few years ago. They're both really nice people. He's since painted this Camaro green. It looks good in green. It looked good in red. I think we're tied. Our cars are afraid of each other. One time he lost a fuel pump, another time I lost a fuel pump. No, it's always a good tight race when we're up against each other. I can't remember who won this round. There's our super stock pit bull when he was a little tiny guy. You gotta have a cute dog shot in there. There's the inside of my car. A couple years ago they changed the rules so you could put a race bucket set up in the car instead of Well, I used to have the bench seat in there, which was super cool. When I first started racing, you didn't even have to have a fire suit. So I'd wear jeans and a t-shirt and sit on a bench seat and run 10-second quarter miles in a 2-ton station wagon. This is at Woodburn. They have hand-dipped corn dogs and onion rings too. I mean, it's a good place to really eat some unhealthy food. There's an old shot of the original Mighty Josephine with the Dukes of Hazzard mags on it in slime green. There she is today. Here's another 64 that we have floating around in our collection. We've got a few of them. Here's my pit bull again with my friend Peter's 63 wagon. There's a cool old shot of the Helvetier. The Helvetier is still around. I did a minor restoration of that and gave it to my friend, my engine builder, Terry Mom, who then passed it along to somebody else who swears they're going to race it. Here's a shot of me and Dr. Big Block in 1995, maybe 4. Long time ago. Here's the wagon in Gainesville. Boy, that was fun. That's more Gainesville. Gainesville, we were getting ready to race class, and all of a sudden the rain came in and it stayed wet for a long time. There's getting teched at Gainesville. It's so funny to take that car through tech because most people who tech the car were not born when the car was invented, and so they don't even really know what they're looking at. There's a nice wheels up shot at Gainesville. There I am with beard. Black and white. You kind of get an idea of what the weather was doing down there. This is all like a lake back there. It was wet. Oh my God, it was so wet. We had built like a dock next to the trailer so you could get up to the man door without getting wet. Here we are on the way back. Steve Ryland at the wheel, driving the truck through a savage snowstorm on our way home. There's another shot of Steve Ryland, 67 there, and under the hood of the Mighty Josephine, you can see the fuel cell and the engine, and there's no inner fender wells or anything. These cars, the big Chryslers, you can take a lot off of them. The whole front just unbolts and comes right off the car, way easier than you would think, especially after you've done it a few times and you don't put all the hardware back on. You can see it's got a full roll cage that comes up to the front, and we built a special thing. It hangs the fenders, just a steel bar that goes across there. Here she is coming back from a run. Windows don't go up or down, so you got to keep the door open if it's a hot day. There we are with the Canadians, kind of slightly blurry shot. That's at Spokane Raceway. There's Spokane again. El Chupacabra heating up the hides. There's a later shot of the stickers on the side of the race car. 2016. That's got to be a national event. There's a lot of people in the stands. There's Troy Superstocker. There's the inside of my car. I have to rewire that thing again. You see I have John Force signed the glove compartment door. Got a bunch of signatures in there. Self-portrait. There we are in the rain somewhere. I think that's at Mission, BC, Canada. The bracket finals. I was up there crewing for Mike and Steve. There's that dog attacking my wife. Here's a drive-through liquor store in Florida. You know, there was a time when you could get a mixed drink delivered to your car. Here's a cool shot of the Dual family station wagon. I think one of these young guys actually drove that car then too, like 16 or whatever. And he's a sea stalker. It's a cool picture. Here's my friend Jacob's Town and Country. There's, he's number 5 there. That's Jody again behind my car. We're at fuel check at the national event. After every run, they want to look at a sample of your fuel to make sure you're running legal fuel. And you have to drive across the scale so they can make sure your car weighs what it's supposed to weigh. There's Troy doing what Troy does. Boy, that car really launches like crazy. I mean, this is what we do. Just tearing the teeth off a rear end. Here's a wagon of steel in an abandoned garage. An old Ford. Here's the Wagons of Steel North Canadians rig. This is all windows here. It's like an old Tommy Ivo rig, so you can see the car inside when they're driving around. This is at Bakersfield. When I was down there, I had our I didn't have the stock Eliminator Max wedge engine in it. We had a big wedge. I think it's the motor out of Josephine, actually. And it went down to the low 10s of that engine. Yeah, it really hauled the bacon with that. The best, eventually we got a 10.08 out of it, I think, at 135 miles an hour. It's just crazy fast in that car. I mean, I don't think anybody ever imagined that station wagon going 135 miles an hour when they designed it. You can definitely, it's a solid car, and I know it like the back of my hand, so I've never been uncomfortable in it, but 135, you're really going fast at 135 miles an hour. Like, oh my God. Glad the brakes work. There's the back of El Chupacabra. Here's another run with all the stickers all the way up to 2018. That's the last season I raced this car. You can see this one is Division 7. That's Southern California. That's 2009. That's when I was at the Winter Nationals. And then that's Division 2, which is East. That's when I was at Gator Nationals. And they give you these stickers when you're a competitor, when you do the divisional racing, and then these stickers here are the national events that I've been to. So you can see Seattle, Pomona, Phoenix, Sonoma, mostly Seattle. Someday I'd like to do some more racing. I'd like to do more national events around the country. Here's when I was doing the quick and dirty restoration on the Helveteer for Terry. Felt good to do that. It sat in my yard for a while. Made me feel guilty to see it get all dirty looking. So here's when I was cleaning it. Fred Johnson, Fred's Homegrown. He sponsored me for years. He gave me a lot of nice breakfast for that. And then I, rather than fix the rust, I just put crabs on it. So we would actually call it the crustacean wagon sometimes. That's a neat car. Still is. I hope the guy gets it running in the tents again. Here's the Canadians with my wife and kids invading our house. A nice snow shot of the wagon tree in the backyard. So that one is our gold wagon, which is the same as the Mighty Josephine, but it's different. Our friend runs that car now. Chunk. Kenny. Back there. Well, that's our photo show for today. I will try and come up with something interesting to show you next week. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and hit the like and keep the rubber side down and stay safe and bring your tape measure and your mask with you when you go out in public. Keep everyone 6 feet away from you. You got an excuse. Carry on.